we pound for pound. UFC thrills, spills, nights get loud. Big EQB, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it on a Sunday right after UFC Sacramento happened last night. Not too bad of a fight card, actually. Some pretty good fights and some entertaining fights, and that was the way it went pretty much throughout the weekend with all combat sports. We had some good boxing happening. PFL happened. I didn't hear too much about PFL, to be honest with you, but and then there was a RAF 12, Real American Freestyle Wrestling, that went on this weekend as well. I kind of forgot to talk about that one on Thursday because there was a lot going on this weekend. Didn't even realize that was happening this weekend. I thought, oh, actually, I should have known, because I was like, that's in August 20 something, and it's the fucking 23rd. This month is just gone by quick as hell. So yeah, that one kind of passed me by, and it was a weird week. I just I just missed it. So some good matchups on there though, and some, fighters coming back that haven't been doing any competitions in a while, and some crazy outcomes in that RAF. So we'll talk about that one here in a few minutes, but yeah, hopefully everyone's doing well. Just the weekend went by super fast. That's how it always happens, apparently. It just seems like I just got off work on Friday, and next thing I know, it's Sunday, time to do the show, and the weekend's over. So, but we had a good weekend overall. Took care of some things Friday night. Last night went out to celebrate a friend's birthday and spent some time hanging out with some friends and stuff like that. So that was cool. And then today was a lot of just taking care of stuff around the house and relaxing a little bit. So, but yeah, that's about it. Not too bad of a weekend, and yeah, getting ready for the week coming up. Luckily, I didn't have to go out of town like I thought I would have to, but who knows what's gonna pop up this week. My work keeps me guessing, that's for damn sure. So we'll see what kind of a week we get going for this week coming up. Hey, what's up, Antoine? How you doing? Welcome in, bro. Yeah, so we'll see how this week goes coming up, and we got a early UFC card coming up. I'm off tonight so I can chill. Oh, right on, Antoine. That's awesome. Yeah, we have an early card coming up next weekend. It's actually a 3 a.m. card in Shanghai. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Song Yadong. Yan Xiaonan versus Denise Gomes. Kaya Sakura versus Quilang Aori. Sumadarji versus Alex Perez. Junior Tafa versus Liu Chi. Yeah, so I kind of had a plan. I got fucking yeah, that's midnight for you. Yeah, the prelims start at midnight, but the main card, which would be the only thing I would do, starts at 3 a.m. So I was thinking about getting up for that, but I don't think I will. Because we have some stuff we got to do during the day, and I might just be half dead, and we actually have some stuff to do that's gonna take some effort. So I'll probably stay away from doing that one. But the week after is the Paris card, and that one's at 12 p.m. for me, so that's at noon. So I don't see why I shouldn't be able to do that one. And that's Dan Hooker versus Saladin Parnasse. So hopefully nothing pops up, and I can go live for that one. But we got a couple crazy times for cards coming up here. So not too bad though. We got China and then Paris. My daughter's doing good. She got a good job. She's adapting well out there, and they found a house so they can get out of an apartment, which is awesome too, because they just had to stay there for a certain amount of time. And once she got up there and settled in, they started looking and they found a house. So Yeah, man. She's doing well. They're flourishing out there. I think everything's going good, and I'm just happy for him. I'm happy for him, and I'm proud that she's able to make things happen out there, and get to work and work hard like she does. So, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, great fight Saturday. What's up, Xavier? Johnny, what's going on? Yeah, man. What's good, fam? Hope everyone's living. Yeah, everyone's good, man. So far. Hopefully, you're good as well. Yeah, for the fights were definitely good on Saturday for sure. Still shocked that Fluffy lost. Yeah, I kind of am too. Like, it kind of went against what I thought was gonna happen with Robocop. I thought, the later the rounds, the more Fluffy would, do well. But then we get into those later rounds, and Fluffy just kept getting hit, man. Kept getting hit. You cannot get hit like that by Robocop, you know what I mean? So he's definitely got the power. What's up, Rain? How you doing? Welcome in. Another tough card, good fights. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, man, it was kind of a crazy card. Drinking cold one, chilling, trying to prep for the week. I hear you, man. But yeah, that it was kind of a weird card, kind of a crazy card. Like, I kind of thought I knew what was going to happen with most of the fights, and then we had stuff that got changed up, so it was weird. But that's kind of what's been happening. It keeps things interesting, you know what I mean? We've been getting a lot of finishes lately, which is awesome, because that's kind of what we were lacking here and there for a while. And let's see, we had a total of let's see, decision. So then it makes me wrong at the top. But you know what? The Robocop and Fluffy fight was good enough to not care that it was a decision. The Petrino Spivak card, fight, that one kind of killed it for me, unfortunately. We had RDR with the finish. We had Medeiros with the finish. That was good. Judice with the finish. Yeah, all of them were finishes except for the co-main and main. Robocop did a great job. Went for Fluffy, but damn, yeah. Piotr Jan probably had a blast watching the main event. What? Yeah, but I, again, not too bad. And then in the prelims, we had a lot of finishes as well. So let me see. I'm seeing one decision. Yep, one decision in the prelims and two. So 3 decisions total. Pretty badass. That's what we like to see. And even though I think only one fight kind of really disappointed me, and that was that Petrino and Spivak fight. That one was kind of tough. That was kind of tough. I was hoping for a little more coming out of Petrino in that one, and it just didn't work out that way. So Fluffy and Marab have a lot of similarities. Oh, okay, yeah, I was wondering what you were getting at with that one, but I saw late interviews of Robocop. He rolled up in a wheelchair with a walking boot and a smashed face. Fluffy gave his all, but Robo better. Yeah, man. Yeah. Fluffy's tough. He definitely he's durable to a certain extent. You know what I mean? They went all 5 rounds. It's like, he got his in, but Robocop was just, man, he was damn near dropping Fluffy every time he got a clean shot on him. And I feel like that was a big thing with Fluffy. He just needs to work on his defense, man. Like, stop getting hit so much. I feel like that would be way better for him, is for him to not get hit all the time. Like, work your way around that. Have any of y'all ever felt a leg kick before? No, not a legit one. I've had people trying to mess around, but not a legit leg kick. No, but just any of the responses I've seen to one on videos online and stuff. I don't know that I want to. Maybe I'm a pussy, but that just doesn't sound right. Maybe back in the day I would have been able to take it better, but yeah, things hurt a lot more these days. But yeah, that'd be tough. So yeah, I'm just thinking, like, fucking who should Robocop face next? That's a good question. Ooh. Damn, he just beat maybe Kyle or Brandon Allen. Oh, Joe Pyfer. Has he fought Joe Pyfer yet? I don't think he has, right? Let me see. Who has he fought already? Because I can never remember off the top of my head. No, he has not fought Pyfer. Ooh, that could be a good one. Because Pyfer's the same way. He'll take some shots and, yeah, and he can bang. We know that. So that would be a nice stand-up fight. Joe Pyfer. And Pyfer is ranked above Robocop, and he's ranked at number 4. So I mean, 4, 5, and 6 right now. Pyfer, Allen, and Kyle. Those are all the ones directly above Fluffy right now. So maybe any one of those. Obviously, Imavov's still sitting around waiting for stuff. DDP still making his way through things, and Chimaev just lost. So yeah, I don't think he's ready for that yet. But dude, Pyfer, Brendan Allen, or Kyle Bahalio, those could actually be good fights. I think any of those would be good. I feel like maybe the Pyfer fight would be really good, but if they don't want to jump him that high, give him Kyle. That could be good too. Yeah, I don't know. There's a couple good options there. Not too bad. Pickings for him. So anyway, let me get back to this. And then yeah, before I go too far, once again, unfortunately, my smelling salts are dead at the moment, but I still gotta give a shout out to Noctane for the sponsorship. They're working on getting me more, so that's good. I appreciate the hell out of that. Clark setting that up for me because I kept forgetting. It was a busy week. I kept forgetting that I needed to text him. I didn't even put the note in my phone, but Clark let me know that he's got it hooked up for me, and maybe we got some other stuff in the works. But Noctane, check it out. Scan that QR code on the screen. There's a link in the description below, as always, in every one of my videos. I use them to stay awake and alert. There's a bunch of different uses for them. You can learn about it more by checking out their website. It's a fun one to look at, and they show support on there for me as well. If you go all the way down to their main, at the bottom of their main page, you'll see proudly sponsoring the Going Rounds podcast. That's me, obviously. And yeah, there's different potencies. There's different scents. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with it, and there's different uses and stuff like that, like I said. So go check it out. Noctane, appreciate the sponsorship, and yeah, be on the lookout. Hopefully we'll have some new ones here pretty quick, and then we'll be able to get the smell and salt segment back since I wore my other ones out. So yeah, let's get to it, man. We got some things to talk about, and we'll start off with some boxing because that happened this weekend as well. And I know I didn't really talk about that much. I did mention it. How did you come up with your podcast name? You know what? I kind of had a list of names, and Going Rounds was just one that popped in my head because, people will say stuff like, oh yeah, they're going rounds with each other, like in an argument, or just simply going rounds in a cage in a ring, stuff like that. It's not like a real popularized kind of saying, I think, but I feel like it's one that made sense. So we went over, me and my wife were going over different names and stuff. I was bringing up stuff to her, and I couldn't really come up with anything else, and that one just kept sticking out to me. So I just felt like it was unique enough. So hopefully it makes sense to all of you guys as well. And I love the fact that because after everything, I was able to make it GRP, to say in short, because Going Rounds podcast is a lot, you know what I mean? But yeah, and then we were kind of making little puns with it, like time to go rounds with this or that and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it kind of worked out. So I feel like it was pretty good. Hopefully everyone else likes it. I mean, it's one of those things. It's here to stay. But if I ever decide to change it, I don't think I ever would though. It would have to, the podcast would just have to be over if I ever changed it. But I felt like it, I felt like it went well with all the combat sports, and that's kind of what I wanted, because I know I cover a lot of UFC and mainly MMA, but I still like to cover boxing, as we're about to do right now. I still like to cover, RAF, Real American Freestyle Wrestling. That wasn't out back then, but and just like, exactly, Xavier, GRP fan, like that's that it's a good way to be able to shorten it, you know what I mean, and have something to, just like when All Is Good is here, he's always like, oh yeah, GRP rules for this and stuff like that. So it's cool to be able to have like a shortened version, but also have a name to go with that shortened version to that makes sense. So I appreciate the question on that one, Antoine. I don't know that anybody's really asked me that before, so that's a good question. I appreciate that, because it is cool to be able to talk about like the process of stuff sometimes, you know what I mean. And the name has always just been there, so it's just been there, and nobody's really inquired about it. I didn't know if that was because the name made sense enough, and that's why no one really asked too much about it, or if it's just one of those things where it just flows and it's good. But I like it, so, and it goes well with a lot of stuff. So appreciate the question on that. Anyway, we had Rolly versus Teofimo that happened this weekend, and man, it was a great fight from what I could tell. I obviously didn't watch it. It's behind a paywall on the Zone, and you gotta pay for it or whatever. So I didn't watch the whole thing, but I caught the highlights and stuff. Teofimo Lopez got the win by majority decision, but it seemed like a banger pretty much all the way through. So appreciate that, Antoine. And yeah, I mean, it seemed like it kind of went back and forth. Romero kind of played it smart, and Lopez just kind of tried to walk him down. So the activity and accuracy got Lopez rounds early on, and Romero was just kind of hanging back, waiting for counters and stuff. But he connected and in the fourth round and gave Lopez some decent shots and stuff. But seems like round 5 was really where things turned around, and where was I? I just completely dropped my page here. There it is. Okay. Holy crap. I don't know why, but that always seems to happen, and then I lose my spot. But yeah, I mean, in the end, we get the entire fight with, let's see, where was the thing I was just looking for? My eyes are playing tricks on me today. What's going on? Oh, okay. Here we go. Yeah, I guess there was a knockdown that they were questioning. They called it a push instead of a knockdown, but Lopez seemed to touch canvas at one point in the 5th. And then, he got back to the boxing and stuff. Basically, he was able to make it a decent fight, and got the win over Rolly Romero. But it seemed like a good fight. I mean, all of the how sometimes you watch highlights and you're like, okay, was this fight really good, or did they just was it really good all the way through, or did they just pick and choose the right clips to put out there? Because sometimes that happens, you know what I mean? They can make a fight look really good, and it may not have been that great, but everything that I saw seemed to have been a pretty good fight. I saw some people talking about it, and it seemed like it was a really good fight all the way through. So majority decision win for Teofimo Lopez, and he made himself look good in that one. But he had to fight through adversity and stuff like that. We had to go all the way all 12 rounds, and yeah, that's how that went. So pretty decent fight there. I didn't really hear much about the rest of the card. I didn't really follow much. That's just, like I said in the past, when it comes to boxing, it's just, the bigger names, maybe I'm too casual on the boxing front, but my thing has always been MMA. So I'll pay attention to some fights, and when I see something that catches my attention, I kind of want to, talk about it a little bit, especially when it's a couple names that I actually know. They're fighting for a championship, the WBA welterweight world championship. So it's always fun to, talk about whatever happened, especially when big things happen in boxing. So boxing is still a combat sport. I'm a fan of combat sports in general. And even though I don't follow boxing very much, I still like to, talk about it whenever possible. And, just kind of give some shine to the boxers as well, because it's all combat sports and I like it all. And when it comes down to it, I like boxing as a sport. It's just hard for me to watch it because I'm so used to MMA, where there's just so many things about MMA that keep me interested in stuff. So that's just me though. I know there's a lot of big boxing fans out there that don't really enjoy watching MMA. It goes both ways. But regardless, it's all combat sports and it's all fun. So let's move on to the RAF card. RAF 12 happened as well this weekend, and it was in Cleveland, Ohio. We had Merab versus Cejudo. And this one was interesting because this was the second matchup between them, and I believe Merab had won the first one, so Cejudo was definitely coming back wanting to win the second matchup between them, and he did. And that was a title fight. There was a title on the line? I can't even keep up with their titles, man. Let's see. He lost in the last one by decision to Merab, which was back in July. So just last month. So they had a quick turnaround, and he gets the win early on, actually. 36 seconds. It was Cejudo won by pinfall, and that was in the first round, 36 seconds in. How do you think Fluffy versus current Kamaru Usman goes? I think Usman would probably look good in some ways against Fluffy, but I don't know, man. It feels like since Fluffy lost to Strickland, and it just feels like maybe he's having a hard time bouncing back. I like Fluffy versus Robocop more than Patty versus Gaethje. No shit. Okay. Merab downfall, keeps losing. I even saw Nick Shirley take him down at the White House. Oh shit. Yeah, I don't know, man. Merab is I don't know. It's weird. Is he like, I didn't really like Patty versus Gaethje. Okay. I just felt like Patty versus Gaethje was an interesting fight because it was once again a Gaethje fight where everyone was like, oh, he's definitely gonna lose, and that didn't happen. So I think that's what made it a little more interesting. Plus, it was a good fight. It was a good fight overall. So I feel like I feel like that's the thing, is just everyone, with Fluffy and Robocop, it was kind of a back and forth. Not everyone was like on one side thinking that that's the way it was going to end. So I think everybody thought that Patty was going to work Justin, and it was going to be over with. So I think that's what made it more interesting. But Fluffy versus Robocop, damn good fight. They got fight of the night for a reason. Obviously, we'll get to talking about that here shortly, but definitely a fun fight for sure. Piotr Jan can beat Merab and Raf. Shit, man. The way that he got beat by Jan in that last fight, holy crap, man. Yeah, I think Jan might be one of those guys that has Merab's number now. You know what I mean? When you get beat like that, these guys don't bounce back from that sometimes very easily, and that's what seems like is happening with Fluffy. I thought 100% he was gonna be, do well and maybe just bounce back in a big way against Robocop, and then just look what happened. He got hit a lot. It was just tough. So, and Merab might be in that same boat right now where he's having trouble bouncing back from the loss, the way that he lost to Piotr Jan. It was a dominant win by Jan. So it's tough bouncing back, man. We'll see when he gets back in the cage. But against Cejudo, he loses quickly, 36 seconds by pinfall. And fuck, man, it was quick. 4-point takedown throw almost immediately by Cejudo. And then he controlled Merab's arm and drove him to the mat for the pin. So yeah, that was a big revenge fight for Cejudo, beating him in that. And now Oh, Cejudo's 2-1 against Merab and Raf. Oh, crossover competition. Got you. That's what that said. I was like, wait a minute, what is that? I heard Patty was Ilya versus Ilya was in the works. Maybe. I wouldn't doubt it, because now that they've both, lost, and lost as far as Ilya lost his title, and then Patty lost to Gaethje, fighting for the title and stuff. He's working his way back. That would be a good fight. Especially because they got beef from the past. So it wouldn't be a bad matchup to make. So I wouldn't doubt that they are trying to make it. I know that they've, possibly thought about making it in the past. So we'll see if it comes up. Anyway, we had Merab versus Cejudo in that first fight. Stevenson, let's see, is this correct? Oh yeah, Gable Stevenson. Fuck, I hate when people do that, and I just did it too. Gable Stevenson versus Cassiope. Stevenson wins that one. Let's see, what else? Blades versus, I don't know who that is. Oh, Bo Nickel lost to Max McEnelly. I think that's how you say his name. McEnelly won 3-2. I guess there was no thoughts in hell that he was gonna beat Bo Nickel, because Bo Nickels look good in this, you know what I mean, in RAF. So, but he got beat in this one. And it just seemed like Bo Nickel kind of struggled to, really be on the offensive, and McNally just kind of defended a lot of his takedowns and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was kind of close, but Bo Nickel lost. So that was an interesting one. We had let's see, where are we at? Oh, we had Tyron Woodley versus Joaquin Buckley on this card as well, which is crazy. I didn't even know that one until I actually heard about it on Friday, and I was like, what the hell? I didn't know that was happening. But I wasn't paying enough attention last week. But Woodley won that one. It looked like Buckley came out strong and jumped ahead 8-0, and then Woodley kind of settled down, came back, and really took the lead and got a bunch of points and wound up winning 14-8. So 14 unanswered points, and got his first combat sports victory since 2018, which is nuts for Tyron Woodley. Because, he's been boxing, MMA, all that stuff, and just hasn't really been able to get the W. So he finally did. And yeah, that's how that went. And the rest of these fights, we had Kennedy, Blades versus Laramendi, 11-0 tech fall for Blades. That's Kennedy Blades versus Reese. That's the second fight on that poster there. The women, Jason Nolf defeated Evan Wick by tech fall. He won the middleweight championship. Jesse Mendez versus Vladimir. Oh my God, I don't know how to say that name. Anyway, Mendez wins 7-2 there. David Carr versus Tajmuraz Selkazanov. Carr wins 5-4 there. DeJulius versus Asu Almabayev. What the fuck? I didn't see that one. Asu Almabayev got beat by Tekfall 10-0 though. Holy shit. K-Dick versus Wills Lewan. Lewan suffered a leg injury, so K-Dick got the win there. And then Masanuski Ono versus Ben Divino. Ono got the win there, 4-0. So those are just the other fights on that card. Other matches on that card. It's tough when you go from boxing to wrestling and then back to MMA, when you just, usually talking about MMA, I call everything fights and cages, and because I'm just MMA centric, you know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, I like to talk about it for sure. So that's why I always try to bring it up as much as I can. And then if anyone else is interested, at least they know what's going on or what happened if they missed it or something like that. Obviously, I don't get as deep as I do in the UFC and with MMA and stuff, but still like to cover it. So, and then coming up this week on Tuesday, we got Dana White's Contender Series, week 3 for season 10. We got 5 fights as usual on the card. We got Bellamir making her debut against I think it's Alex Apodaca. So that should be an interesting fight, being that Bellamir is the daughter of Frank Mir. She's done some big things. Have I ever been to Yum? Oh, I heard you say earlier. What'd you say earlier? I completely forgot to answer that question. Didn't you ask something? Are you talking about Yuma? Is that what you're saying? I have been to Yuma for work actually, but I don't have anybody. I don't know anybody there or have any family there either. But I have been there. It's kind of it's not really a place I want to visit much. There's not a whole lot there. So let's see. Let's get to Dana White's Contender Series that's happening on Tuesday, and it's Bellamir versus Alex Apodaca. Yeah, you. Yeah. Yeah, I've been there. I just never. I don't know much about it. I was only there for work. So Bellamir is 4-0 overall, and she's making her debut in the Dana White's Contender Series. Apodaca 3-1, so similar opponents there. That's happening in the women's bantamweight division. We got Mario Paizan versus Guilherme Uriel. That's happening in the heavyweight division. Paizan is 1-0 in Contender Series, so he's had a fight here before. And then he's 10-1 overall. Uriel is 0-1 in Contender Series and is 7-2 overall. Let's see. Robocop never going to lose to a man called Fluffy. Terminator versus Robocop next. That's funny, man. Yeah, I mean, I guess that would have been a bad look, right? For the battle of the nicknames, and the tougher one not winning would have been tough, especially against a guy named Fluffy. Oh shit. There is nobody with the nickname Terminator though, huh? That would have been interesting had he had someone in the above him that he could fight next and be named nicknamed Terminator. That would have been a good matchup. Of names at least. So yeah, then we got Sean Clancy Jr. versus Gary Bellato. Clancy Jr. 8-0, making his Contender Series debut against Bellato, who's 11-3. That's happening in the welterweight division. Then we got Ronald Humphrey versus Alexis Miranda. 4-0 for Humphrey, making his debut, and Miranda as well. Never fought before in Contender Series. He's 9-2. That's in the welterweight division as well. And then we got Nick Galante versus Carlos Petruzella, who is 15-1 overall, and Galante is 7-1. That's happening in the middleweight division. So we got a pretty good card with Bellamir being the main event, and I'm excited to watch that one, honestly. So Tuesday, don't miss that for the Dana White's Contender Series Week 3. We'll have to check it out and see what we got for the matchups, or what we got for the fighters as far as what they have to offer us. On Tuesday, of course, everyone knows they have to come in ready to get a finish. If not, then they risk not getting signed, because that's kind of how that goes for Dana White's Contender Series. And you have to either have a fight of the night type performance if it goes to decision, or you better get a really good finish. Otherwise, Dana White isn't having it really. So that's kind of how that goes. Let's see. Let me get to my why I have to remember to label these damn things correctly instead of letting it label for me, because then I lose things, and it's like, why is it not the first thing on the list? So let's see. Why can't I find it either? There's my prelims. That's the main card. All right, so let's move over to UFC Sacramento. let me get my shit together here because I lost. Let's see. There's that one. Okay, maybe that's it. That's it. Okay, I'm done. I need my smelling salts, man. I need to get those back. Get me going. But okay. So we had Fluffy Hernandez versus Robocop. Obviously, we've been talking about it already. And, you know, good fight for the main event, for sure. It went to decision, but it was worth the watch. A little bit of back and forth throughout the fight, but I feel like, and, you know, Fluffy maintained control enough to, you know, win some rounds, I think. But, you know, it just wasn't enough in the end because, you know, he got hit a lot by Robocop, and I think that's one of the biggest things that that stopped him from getting the win, because he got hit quite a bit. And, you know, so did Robocop, though. You know, Robocop gets hit a lot too, but Fluffy doesn't have that kind of power. I think Robocop has that kind of power, and that's the edge he had over Fluffy. Fluffy likes to grind it out and really make it rough, cardio wise, with all the takedowns and the pressure and the constant control on the ground. But Crazy Frank isn't in the Hall of Fame yet. Oh yeah, well, he, you know, had issues with the UFC and stuff like that. I'm sure he'll get there at some point, because he definitely had the accolades to become a Hall of Famer for sure. But yeah, he's been out so long, it's surprising that he's not in there already. So yeah, I mean, good fight for the main event. We had the co-main event that went to decision as well. That one wasn't as fun. But let's go from the bottom to the top like we always do and talk about this main card. And we start with oh my god, did I really do this too? Hold on. I'm off today, man. I really am. Like, what the fuck is happening on Sundays? I seem to be losing my, there we go. No, I just mislabeled. Listen, it's not easy sometimes. I make a lot of mistakes that I feel like I shouldn't be making. I went through all of I do my testing ahead of time, and my testing looked good, and there's a good reason for that, because I just mislabeled things. That's what threw me off. But we start off with Anthony Wint versus Terrence Chapman, and this one started off quickly, man. First round finish for Wint, defeating Terrence Chapman by submission, and he got him in the arm triangle choke 4 minutes and 29 seconds in. As we see here in this picture, you know, he really tightened that up. I mean, Chapman was definitely defending and looked like he might have gotten out of it at one point, but Wint was able to kind of lock it in and really get it, you know, sunk in deep and basically put Chapman to sleep quickly. You know what I mean? He went to sleep quickly, but he came back to, but I had KO in the first. Oh shit. Yeah, I wasn't thinking that this one would be a submission. I really wasn't. But you know, he spent the opening minutes like using his feints, landing heavy leg kicks, and then he started looking at the wrestling and really you know, landed takedowns and stuff like that. Chapman had some good takedown defense early, but you know, he couldn't really keep it from happening after a while, and Wint just used his strength to, you know, win those exchanges and, you know, get attached to Chapman at a point where he, you know, he put himself in the right position to get this submission. So and as you can see, he's definitely built in a different way than Chapman is. But you know, being a former NFL linebacker, you know, he played in the NFL, I think only a couple games, but either way, you know, he's got that strength and conditioning stuff. So now he's 8-0. Do you remember where you were when Frank what? I'm sure you'll finish it here in a second. But yeah, Wint goes to 8-0 now. Frank injured his leg. No, I don't. I mean, I remember when he did it, but I don't remember specifics. You know what I mean? It was kind of one of those like, oh shit, I can't believe that happened type things. So Anthony goes to 8-0, and Terrence Chapman drops to 5-2. And I think Chapman was coming in, this was his debut. Yeah, he was coming in off a win, coming from Fury, TKO in the first round. So we'll see what Chapman has. It was a, later, if I remember right, it was a later kind of fight put together. So I thought, Wint was gonna come in and get the knockout, but instead he gave us a good performance on the ground. So quick submission for him, and that gave us our first fight of the night. Brings us into the second fight with the women, and we had Crispy Carly Judice coming in and getting a quick win as well, even faster. 1 minute and 39 seconds into the first round, she lands a nasty body kick, as you can see in that lower picture, that Jaisla Chavez doubled over in pain, and Judice just jumped in and was able to get the finish. So there was a quick fight there. She got a performance of the night bonus for this performance, landing this TKO win, finishing it on the ground. But yeah, she did her thing. That's kind of what Carly Judice, I think it's Judice, that's what she's kind of been doing lately in her career. This puts her on a 4-fight win streak, and 3 out of those 4 fights are performance of the night bonuses. And then this makes actually 4 out of 5 her last 5 fights with bonuses, because she got a fight of the night bonus against Gabriela Fernandez in her last loss. So that was her first fight in her UFC career, and she got a fight of the night bonus there. And now she has 3 out of her last 4 fights have all had bonuses and have all been finishes, and 2 out of those 3 finishes were in the first round. So she went to a decision win over Juliana Miller in her last fight, and then she comes back and gets a first round finish against Jaisla Chavez. So good fight there for the second fight of the night of the main card. And that moves us into another great fight, actually, and one that I got wrong, because damn, Markel Maderos looked damn good in this fight. Mason Jones, he made it to the second round. It was 2 minutes and 7 seconds in when he got TKO'd on the feet by Maderos, and holy shit, it was as you can see in that lower picture, like Mason Jones couldn't even stand up straight. I'm surprised. I don't know how he didn't go down. He got wobbled and knocked around for a good amount of time before that fight got finished, and then he got finished on his feet. And as you can see, doing the fentanyl kind of against the cage. But yeah, he was out on his feet, man. Jones, he pressured forward and used his jab and had some good body shots in the beginning. He was backing Maderos up and landing solid leg kicks and stuff like that, knocking Maderos off balance. But Maderos turned it around, came out, strong in the second round, landed sharp combinations to the head and the body. And then he landed a hard elbow in close that hurt, Mason badly. And then from there, Maderos just took over. He was fucking teeing off on Jones. And it was a nasty finish, man. And the simple fact that it happened on the feet, and with the image of Jones just leaning against the cage, still on his feet like that, was, he was fucked up, man. He was definitely, it was a nasty knockout on the feet. So sometimes those are worse than when someone just kind of gets flatlined, because you could just see Maderos teeing off on him, and it was impressive. Nice photo with the lean. Yeah, man. I was like, oh shit. Well, when I saw that happen, I was like, ooh, let's see what kind of pictures we get out of this one. And yeah, we definitely got one. I try to look for the best kind of quality pictures, but sometimes they don't tell what I needed to tell as far as go along with what actually happened. So sometimes you'll see some pictures that are, not the best quality, but sometimes it's because it's really hard to find really good quality pictures. Not every event has somebody out there releasing the pictures right away that are good quality pictures. So I got to kind of pick and choose and you know, find the ones that make the most sense but look the best, and I don't always have that convenience, unfortunately. But either way, you know, I look at multiple sources and stuff, but sometimes you get the good pictures, and that was one that tells the story like I wanted it to. So Jones entered on a 7-fight win streak, which is why I went with Jones with my pick, because I was just like, damn, he's riding this high right now. You know, he had gone 3-0 since coming back to the UFC, looking good in his fight. And then Medeiros just came in and gave him his first loss since coming back to the UFC, and it was a nasty one. As we know, you know, I see Jones and I think John Jones. Mason Jones, he does get hit a lot, and that's one of the things that's kind of you know, red flag for him. But yeah, Medeiros is now 4-0 in the UFC. Yep, he's 4-0 in the UFC. He has 1 draw on his record, which was his last fight with Chris Padilla. But now he's got 4 wins on a 4-fight win streak. Landon Quinones by decision, Austin Hubbard by decision, Mark Choinsky by decision, and now Mason Jones TKO in the second round. Got a performance of the night bonus with this one too. And I think that's why I was leaning towards Jones, because of the fact that it seemed like Medeiros was just going through and getting wins off of decisions recently. So but he really turned up the productivity here and and got the big win on the feet against Jones. So we'll see what happens, how Jones bounces back from this one. This puts him down to 18-3 overall, while Medeiros goes up to 12-1. And that leads us to RDR. Rainier de Ritter versus Roman Dolidze. And RDR did his thing, man. First round finish in this one as well. He was able to just control, you know, moving up to the light heavyweight division. He's able to control Roman Dolidze and basically get a first round TKO 4 minutes and 1 second in to the first round. So RDR just kind of used his strengths in this one against Dolidze, and everything basically worked. After losing, you know, back-to-back fights in the middleweight division, he was having trouble with weight cuts and stuff, so he moved up to 205. And you think Roman should retire? Let's see, where's he at? Let's look at what he's at 9-6. Yeah, this is 3 in a row for him. Oof. Yeah, that's kind of what I was afraid of. He's 38. I don't know if he's completely done. I mean, he lost to Fluffy, he lost to CLD, and now he lost to RDR. I had first round sub. Yeah, that's kind of, ooh, that's tough, Rain. That's tough, man. But as far as Dolidze, I don't know, man. I mean, he's fought super hard. You know, maybe he's just not gonna be, you know, a contender anymore. So maybe he just needs to fight like fights that make sense, and if he wants to keep fighting. But he's had a rough go. I mean, since, look at these his opponents, like since his last 2 win streaks ago, he had a 4-fight win streak with a win over Starpoli, which whatever, Kyle Dawkins, Phil Haas, Jack Hermanson. That was a 4-fight win streak. Those last 3 fights I named off, all were bonus fights. Then he went on a 2-fight losing streak with Marvin Vettori and Nasruddin Imavov. I mean, he lost decision to both of those. So those are tough opponents too, especially around that time. Then he comes back and beats Anthony Smith, Kevin Holland, Marvin Vettori, right? Well, look at those fighters that he beat, okay? Anthony Smith, Kevin Holland, Marvin Vettori, all guys who, you know, he had lost to Vettori before and came back and beat him in you know, that rematch. But you know, those are all 3 guys that lose a lot anyway, and you know, have great performances that they win, but so that makes them tough. But then they also drop fights that you wouldn't think they would drop. So, but then he comes out against the higher level opponents, which are Fluffy, CLD, and RDR, and those being the tougher opponents, he dropped all 3 of those fights, 1 by sub, 1 by decision, and 1 by TKO. So it just seems like he's just not, so maybe retiring might be in his near future. If he wants to fight anymore, he's going to have to fight the guys that are kind of the level under the contender / championship style fighters. So maybe he becomes a gatekeeper of sorts if he keeps fighting, but he's on a 3-fight losing streak now. And yeah, that's always tough. So they both were kind of battling that here because RDR had lost 2 in a row, and so had Delide. But yeah, Delide went for that that leg lock on RDR, and RDR just kind of worked his way out of that calmly, like he should, because he's a high level guy on the ground too. But they kind of went for leg attacks both, but RDR just wound up getting the dominant position and was able to start unloading punches on Delide. And it seems like as soon as Delide is kind of trapped, he can't get out. You know what I mean? It's just his thing. RDR reportedly landed around 100 ground strikes. That's insane. And it did look bad, man. Like, it was just, he looked up at the ref at one point in time, was like, fuck, what more do I got to do, man? This guy's not doing shit. And it's true. There was, after so many unanswered shots, it's like, why are we not calling the fight? And I know it's because then people will say, oh, that was an early stoppage. The fighter will complain, all that shit. But it's like, if it's a bunch of unanswered shots and they're hard, clean shots, sometimes you just got to give, you got to call it. And that's kind of where we were at with this one. So, yeah, Delide, tough loss, man. Tough loss for your 3rd in a row. And RDR looks good up at 205. So he was super emotional after, because he, said he put in a lot of work, was away from his family. I'm sure he was, he probably felt some kind of relief after having 2 losses in a row, and now he comes back and gets a win, even though he had to move up a weight class. But I'm sure a lot of it was just heavy on his shoulders. So for him to come back and get the win like he did, it's against the Delide, but still a decent fighter. And yeah, we'll see what kind of opponent RDR gets next. But that was your co-main event. And I'm sorry, that wasn't the co-main event. That was the yeah, where's the Spivak? What the fuck happened here? Huh, that's weird. I guess I left out. Oh my god, that's okay. I just had trouble today apparently, and I thought I was covered. I thought I had everything good, and I got to start paying a little closer attention, because apparently I left this fight off of my notes. But that's okay. I mean, really, when it comes down to it with this fight, Petrino, as you can see, he caught Spivak, with some decent shots. And I was thinking that Spivak was gonna come back and get something done. But I you know what? I just realized I messed up the fight wheel stuff. I'm gonna have to fix that too, because I was thinking that Petrino lost and he actually won. Why was I thinking that he lost? Weird. Anyway, he did get the win by unanimous decision. It's because I put this fight out of my mind, because I was hoping for more. I really was hoping for more out of this one, and it just didn't work out that way. Petrino, I mean, he, like I said, he did what he could and tried to, tried to get finishes and stuff, but it just wasn't working out. It just seemed like they both, started getting gassed and just making it all 3 rounds. It just didn't work out like I thought it would. I thought Petrino was going to get a big knockout, and if not, Spivak, it's kind of what he's been doing, having it go to decisions. He lost his last win by finish was a submission to Tybura. So I figured if anything, we get a submission out of it. He was coming off a decision win over Delia. So, he lost to Waldo Cortez Acosta and Gelton Almeida. So I was thinking that, Petrino had the power, but he wasn't able to get the finish early, and Spivak, made it last and wore him out. So, he wasn't able to get the power behind his shots and really get the finish there. So he gets the win regardless. So that puts him at 15-2 now, and he was also coming off a win. Actually, he was on a 3-fight win streak. Austin Lane by submission, Thomas Peterson by TKO, Steven Asplund by decision, and now Sergey Spivak by decision as well. So he's on a good 4-fight win streak now. We'll see what he gets next after beating Spivak, and that was your co-main. And that leads us to the main event with Robocop versus Fluffy. And, you know, we've touched on this one a few times here, but the biggest thing is the fact that again, I was thinking that Fluffy had this one. I thought that he would be able to survive, you know, the initial onslaught from Robocop, and because he is durable, and the only problem is you know, he gets hit a lot, but he takes the shots and he rolls with them. And as you can see, because he, you know, made it all 5 rounds with Robocop, even though he got hit. Look at the body shot by Robocop with the knee up the middle. Like those are shots. That's what Judice did to win her fight, was that kick up the middle. And you land those body shots, and if you land it in the right spot, you know, your opponent doubles over in pain, and usually they get finished from there. So but you know, Fluffy, he may not be, you know, the epitome of the best shape as far as body wise, but you know, he can take those shots. But there's just too many in this one, you know what I mean? He's getting hit clean to the jaws. You can see in that lower picture as well. Robocop hits hard. But this was the fight of the night. You know, it was a 25-minute war. They both get bonuses for the fight of the night, but you know, Fluffy, he tried to do what he does and impose his will in the beginning with the pressure and the wrestling, shooting for takedowns, putting Rodriguez up against the fence with the clinch, and you know, Rodriguez, you know, he had pretty good takedown defense and kept forcing the fight back to the feet for the striking where he's strong at. And you know, his calf kicks were on point, and that was a huge weapon against Fluffy, as well as those body shots too. He dropped Hernandez a couple times with those leg kicks, and that was something that really got to Fluffy. As you can imagine, those leg kicks that take your legs out from under you, those are so bad and so hard that you're getting dropped, and it's got to be frustrating, because no matter what, you get up and you can't put all the pressure on your leg because it's hurting, and then you're worried about catching another one. Man, I couldn't even imagine. But you know, Fluffy, besides the leg damage that he had going, you know, he still just hung in there, and that's what makes him tough, and that's what makes him durable. And sometimes it's, you know, against like his best, against, you know, what he should be doing. Maybe he shouldn't be that tough. It's almost like Kane, when Kane was getting, you know, he's almost too tough for his own good, so he would work through things and it would be to his detriment. That's what I was trying to say. It would be to his detriment, and that's kind of where Fluffy is with it as well. He'll take the big shots, he gets his legs beat up, he gets hit to the body, you know, he gets dropped or something like that, and fucking he gets back up and he makes it a fight. So that's why Fluffy's a tough opponent, but he's just had the bad luck of facing guys that have just been better than him on that night. Strickland being a former champion, now he's the champ again after beating Fluffy, and now Robocop. So I would assume Robocop's going to get pushed up a little bit, like I said, when we were looking at the rankings, and who he might fight next. You know, Kyle Bahalio, Brendan Allen, and Joe Pyfer seem to be decent opponents that he could fight next that were above, were the first, you know, the next 3 above Fluffy. So we'll see what kind of matchup Robocop gets, but I guess Fluffy had some gripes after the match about Robocop grabbing the inside of his gloves during grappling exchanges and stuff like that. He said he brought it to Herb Dean's attention, but you know, Herb just kind of told him to stop, and that was really it. So yeah, Fluffy's just tough, man. It's tough because, you know, this is his second loss in a row after an 8-fight win streak that he had going. Then he met Strickland. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8. Then he met Sean Strickland and lost by TKO there. You know, and then loses to Robocop. So he got a bonus. You know, he still got the bonus, and it was a fight of the night, but I'm sure that's not exactly what he wanted. You know, Robocop was just able to neutralize Hernandez's, you know, biggest weapon, and kept it on the feet long enough to be able to beat him up. And while Fluffy got enough, you know, strikes on him and wore him out as well, Robocop came out on top. So Robocop called out DDP as well, so that's interesting. But good fight for the main card. I mean, can't ask for much more when you get the fight of the night in the main card. You know, it went to decision, but it earned fight of the night, and it was a good one. I was just hoping for, you know, I like both these guys. That's the problem. I like both these guys. So for me, I was rooting for Fluffy just to see him bounce back from that loss against Strickland, but especially after the long streak he was on. But it just didn't work out for him. So hopefully he bounces back better on the next one and gets out of that losing column and you know, gets to see a W again here soon. But we'll see what happens with that. So that brings us over to the prelims, and we start with the first fight of the night on the prelims, and that started with the women as well. And this was an interesting fight to start the night off. We got a nice big finish in the third round with Chanel Dyer versus Elise Reed. You know, we talked about the women's fights a lot and about the fact that, you know, we don't get a lot of finishes and stuff like that, and that's why they're usually, you know, first, you know, down at the lower portions of the prelims. But this one started off with a bang, and Chanel Dyer definitely comes out there ready to get a finish. And then she said that herself. She said something to the effect of, "We're sick of seeing wrestling and getting title shots off of wrestling, boring wrestling performances." She's like, "I come out here to get finishes," and that's what I did. And she's not wrong. She's 2-0 now in the UFC. This is her second win in a row. She beat Ravina Oliveira by TKO in her first fight in the UFC and got a performance of the night bonus there. And now she beat Elise Reed with the TKO here. And if the fights weren't, you know, as good going all the way through the night, she probably would have got another bonus. But because it was a good finish, you know, it did take a while to get that finish. But what'd I just do? There we go. I just changed something. I was like, what happened? But yeah, I mean, she did control most of the fight. Her speed and power were and big combinations were the thing that got her through and led her to be able to finish that fight. She didn't allow Reed to get comfortable at all, and she just continuously found Reed with punches and kicks at range and kept the pressure going. So Reed would try to move away and kept getting caught. As you can see in that top picture with the big head kick, at the end of her kick, you know, she's still catching her with that punch at the bottom. So by round 3, you know, she had Dyer had Reed trapped along the fence, and then just unloaded a crazy combination, and that stopped the fight there. So yeah, 2-0 now in the UFC, and Dyer, you know, making that statement at the end that she's there to finish fights. So we're hoping to see more of that coming out of her to spice up that women's division a little more and get some more finishes in there. So good start to the night of fights, and we go to a second finish in the prelims, and that is Jackson McVeigh versus Wes Schultz. Battle of the long-haired guys here. And here's one of those pictures that's not the best quality, but it shows what happened in the fight. And that was a knee landed to the body, yet another one, like we talked about earlier. McVeigh catching that knee up the middle on Wes Schultz, and was able to finish him with that body shot. You know, the knee to the body was just too much for him, and Schultz came out aggressive and kind of threatened McVeigh early on with the guillotine and stuff, but McVeigh was able to, you know, defend, get back to his feet, and take control with the striking exchanges. So it was a good showing for McVeigh, overcoming a little adversity and then showing what he can do on the feet. and he just kind of picked apart Schultz and got him with that body shot up the middle. So yeah, that's really about how that one went. Let's see that. I mean, for 4 minutes and 13 seconds into the first round, there's not much more to talk about there. McVeigh showed which long hair guy was better in the UFC this time. So we'll move on to Stan Dorsainville, the most awkward name, especially for the fighter himself. That name just does not suit him, first name or last name. But he defeats Gage Young. There's another crazy picture. Look at how his fist is just basically embedded in the jaw of Young. Like, that is a nasty ass punch and a crazy picture. But yeah, this was a unanimous decision win. I'm surprised that he didn't get finished with that shot, but a unanimous decision win for Dorsainville. 29-28 on all three scorecards. And even though he came in on short notice, he replaced Cody Steele. He had a little bit of trouble in the beginning because Young started off pretty well and appeared to, have the edge with like some leg kicks and teep kicks and a decent overhand right that hurt Dorsainville early. But he survived it. He came through and he started putting together an offense of his own and really took over by the second round, landing a lot of cleaner shots and doing a better job at controlling the exchanges. So, Young still pressured forward and stuff like that with clinch work and all that, but Dorsainville's just was too much for him, overcame all of it and got the win. Won one extra round against Gage and got the win by unanimous decision. So that was a decent fight as well, even though it was a decision fight. Back to the finishes we go, and that is hold on. Did I fucking miss another one? I did. All right, well, I missed the oh no, I didn't. I know where it is. I know what I did. This is what I did. Here we go. Here's your picture. I did miss it and on the buttons, so that's okay. We'll do it manually. Mauricio Barboza, and this is a good example of not being able to find pictures. This was like the only decent picture I could find from this fight, which was kind of crazy. He fought Ryan Kuse, but Barboza got the first round finish 2 minutes and 47 seconds in, and Kuse was making his UFC debut, stepping in on short notice for Danny Silva, who had an injury. He attempted to get the fight to the mat at one point in time, but Barboza was doing well with the takedown defense and keeping the fight standing. So, he just chased the finish, man, and he got it. He got that left hook. He landed a left hook and then dropped Kuse. It was a weird shot to the head. It was like above his eye, kind of on the forehead, and it was a weird way to drop Kuse, but he did. And then he kind of rolled. It almost seemed like a weird, like, weren't sure if he was out or not, and Barboza held back, didn't jump in, and the refs noticed right away that he was out as he hit the ground. So that was pretty much it. It was like a flash KO win for Barboza, but he did get the win nonetheless. So that was a good one for him, and that puts him at 19-2. Also makes him 2-0 in the UFC. He got his first win against Dennis Bazooka by TKO as well in the first round, and also got a bonus on that one. So 2 wins in a row for Barboza, both in the first round, both by TKO, and one of them being a bonus win. So good for him. We'll see what he gets next, and that leads us to Chris Padilla versus Nasrat Hakparas, and Taco Padilla secures the win by submission in the third round. And he did his thing in this fight. Hakparas, he's a tough opponent for sure. He was coming off of a loss to Quillen Selkill by TKO with that nasty head kick. So it had been almost a year since then. And you know, he comes back and gets submitted. At least he didn't get knocked out again, but he gets submitted by Chris Padilla in the 3rd round. So this puts Padilla at 5 fight win streak, and he's got a draw in between there as well. Yeah, so that puts him at 5-0 now. Submission against Haqparast, TKO versus Bonfim in his the draw against Medeiros in his last fight. TKO against Bonfim before that. Jai Herbert decision, Rongzhu TKO, and then a submission over James Yontop. So a lot of finishes, only 1 decision and 1 draw mixed in there for Padilla. But you know, he was using his kicks and that kind of, you know, put some pressure on Haqparast. And you know, Haqparast in the 2nd round, he was, you know, landed some decent work, decent shots, and you know, kind of put some pressure on Padilla himself. But Padilla came back and found an opening with the counter shot and rocked Haqparast in the 3rd. And then he, you know, landed some elbows on the ground. He was throwing a lot of elbows on the feet and on the ground. Padilla's kind of nasty with those elbows, man. So that's something that people got to watch out for when they fight him, because he's definitely into throwing those elbows, whether he's on the feet or on the ground. He was actually trying to make openings with Haqparast by grabbing his hand, and he would grab his hands as they were like, you know, kind of had their hands out in front, and he would grab a hand and try to just push it down and away and throw that elbow in as he, you know, using that momentum, which, you know, it's a good strat. And he lands it quite a bit. He does spam it a lot, you know, he does try it a lot, but he does land it a lot as well. So, and they're punishing blows, you know, those elbows cutting across your face or landing clean on the chin or on the temple. So yeah, he's good with those shots, and if he keeps getting better with those, man, it's just going to be even better for him. They're just a nasty weapon he can use. So either way though, after rocking Haqparast, he gets him down to the ground and drops elbows on him, and then transitions into a dominant position to get that arm triangle choke, and you know, got him down and basically submitted him. So yeah, it was a good showing for Padilla, and like I said, those elbows are nasty, man, and he gave Haqparast plenty of those to remember him by. So Padilla continues to be undefeated in the UFC at 5-0, and he is yeah, he's a damn good opponent for some higher level fights coming up soon, I'm sure, especially after beating Haqparast. So that's that leads us into the second to the last fight on the prelims, and that was Shamil Gaziev versus Kennedy and Nzechukwu. Another 1st round finish here, another crazy knockout. Nzechukwu, him and Emmers undefeated as dogs. Oh shit, that's a good, yeah, that means don't be betting against those fools even if they're underdogs. It's a good way to win some money, I guess, because if they're undefeated as dogs, that's those are good odds. Nzechukwu did some stupid shit here though. I don't know what he was thinking, but he's fighting with his hands down quite a bit, and I know that some guys can do that. I don't think Nzechukwu is one of those guys, especially when he gets hit. The most awkward way, I mean, if you look at the way that his body's positioned as he's getting hit in that top picture, I don't know how, like, you get your head positioned that way and get hit in the jaw, but it is so crazy the way that he got dropped. And then you see how he got, you know, how he landed on the ground. He just completely just flatline foul. and he falls in the opposite direction of which way the punch is landing, which is strange. So it was a weird way, but he did have his hands down, and he did that multiple times, and I just didn't understand why he was continuing to put his hands down like that. It's a strange way to fight, especially against Gaziev, who's, you know, coming in with big ass fucking you know, strikes, trying to catch that chin, and he did. So you know, he was trying to use his movement and footwork and stuff, but you know, Gaziv was able to get in there and you know, take advantage of the fact that his hands were low and had a clear target. So pressuring forward and cutting off the cage and getting in good combinations. Gaziv just put in a good performance in 1 minute and 20 seconds and was able to get the TKO win. So, or KO win, I should say. So that puts him at 15-3 overall and 4-3 in the UFC. He was coming off a 2-fight losing streak where he lost to Waldo Cortez Acosta and Brando Pierchik, which he got a fight of the night bonus in that last fight. But he got TKO twice in a row, and now he's the one doing the TKOing of Kennedy and Nzechukwu, who is now 8-7 in the UFC. He was coming off a draw to Buchecha and a loss before that to Walter Walker by submission. So not a good look for Nzechukwu. We'll see what happens with him after this. Technically 2 losses in a row, but also has that draw mixed in there too. So who knows what'll happen next. But speaking of Jamal Emmers, as Rain was saying, undefeated as an underdog along with Taco Padilla. Emmers coming in against Larian Douglas. He gets to win, another finish in the first round even. So a lot of early finishes and big finishes in this fight card, which is always fun. Emmers kind of came in and got the 3 minutes and 38 seconds into the first round, gets a TKO over Douglas. Biggest upset of the prelims. You know, he was let's see, what kind of streak is he on? He's 6-4 in the UFC. He's on a 3-fight win streak now, because he beat Gabriel Miranda by TKO, Hyder Emil by decision, and now Laren Douglas by TKO as well. His TKO wins all seem to come in the first round, so you got to kind of survive that first round with Emmers, and then you might have a chance because other than that, he's getting finishes in the first round. Douglas was on a 6-fight win streak coming into the UFC, or I'm sorry, 5 coming into the UFC. He got his first fight in the UFC was a win over Julian Erosa by TKO in the first round as well, and now he lost his second fight to Jamal Emmers. So yeah, fun night of fights, man. A lot of finishes, a lot of first round finishes even. So let's see, let's count how many we had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 first round finishes. Pretty fucking crazy. That's pretty damn good. So yeah, good night of fights, man. I'm gonna have to fix this because I think oh no, I got it right. Okay, I don't know what I was thinking. So basically I went 4-2 and the fight wheel went undefeated, which is crazy. I'm not sure that I've seen that yet from the fight wheel. We both got Anthony winning that first fight of the night on the main card to defeat oh shit, where am I? Hold on, what I do here. Anthony Wint gets the first fight of the night win, so we both got that one right. And then Carly Judice fight wheel goat picks. Yeah, I know, what the fuck, man. Especially after we were thinking that, you know, all my picks were going to be the ones that won because they were all the favorites. And, you know, even though that's not really how it works all the time, I just kind of felt good about this one. But yeah, Anthony Wint beats Terrence Chadman. Carly Judice beats Gisela Chavez. And then the one I fucked up first was Mason Jones. But, you know, like I said, I thought Mason Jones was getting that win. Markel Maderos comes out and finishes him on the feet, which was crazy. Gets a bonus, so that's one loss for me there. Fight wheel still doing well. RDR to beat Dolidze, we both got that right. We both got Petrino over Spivak. And then Robocop, the fight wheel picked Robocop, and I picked Fluffy. And after a fight of the night for both of them, unfortunately Fluffy lost, so that puts me at 4-2. Still not bad, but you know, not 6-0 like the fucking fight wheel did. So damn, we'll see if I can make my comeback, because I was on probably about a 3 or 4 week win streak, at least 3 or 4, and now I'm on a two fight. Now I'm on a 2-week losing streak because I've lost twice in a row now to the fight wheel. So we'll see what happens next week. But yeah, that about does it for UFC Sacramento. And yeah, that's all I got too. So we will see what happens with this card coming up on Saturday. AI getting carried away. Yeah, it's not really AI. It's more just just a randomizer. A randomizer is really what it's called. It's a randomizer wheel. So it's just random, it just spins and stops wherever, and then yeah, just write it in. So we'll see. But it's usually not doing as well. And now it's starting to catch up. So I'm just like, fuck, I gotta make better picks next week. We'll see. But we oh no, I got you, Xavier. It is funny though, because yeah, just randomly picking. I wish I could pick that well randomly. So anyway, that about does it for me. We got the fight card coming up on Saturday, which will be UFC Shanghai. And I will definitely be previewing that on Thursday, as well as talking about any other news and notes and stuff happening in combat sports, MMA, all that good stuff. I'll see what else is happening over the weekend as far as events, and then we will cover that as well. But that's it for me today. Make sure you come back on Thursday for the preview of UFC Shanghai. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Song Yadong in the main event for that one. And we'll talk about all the fights on Thursday. So thanks for all the support. Thanks for the interactions in the chat. And I'll talk to you guys on Thursday. Have a good week. And that's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.